What's up, everybody? Jackson here as always, and today we are talking Jolly Rancher freeze dried. Now, Jolly Rancher has come up with a variety of new products lately, which I'll get to in due course. But this was the most interesting to me. They came up with a rope, but we've had Sweet Tart rope. We haven't had Sweet Tart freeze dried, at least not that I know of. And my first worry when I touched this at the store was, this isn't enough Jolly Rancher. When you hold a real bag of Jolly Ranchers and a bag of these freeze dried, you're thinking maybe 1/8 of a pound. Here, maybe 1/16, so half. And that was worrisome because they were the same price. It may be a weird thing with shrinkflation where, remember when Powerade went from 32 to 28? Now these are getting bigger, and that's important to know, right? Like, this is much bigger than the Jolly Rancher, the rectangular 3D one. But in real world terms, in feeling and in weight, it's actually less. It's an illusion. They're lying. Now, I've already revealed to you what these look like, and what they look like is bad and full of air. And they remind me a little bit of cotton candy if it were small and you didn't have to get it from the fair. Now, it's time to put her in, and it looks like it's made of fiberglass, which I hope it's not. Okay, so the first hit we get, now you can see it's a little wet now, or a little salived. And the first hit we get is that blue raspberry, which is great news. Well, let's see what the second hit we get is. Wow. So we're getting down to that second layer, the mantle, if we're talking about the earth. And we're getting air, a lot of air. And then we collapse into that third layer, the crust, the core, maybe even. And I gotta say, I'm not sure you can see this, it's sticking to my teeth. Bad. Way worse than the original Jolly Rancher. I think dentists have probably made $1 million off of this already. That would be my guess. I think this is really bad for your teeth. It's the kind of thing, you're sitting with your friends. For some reason, mom gave this to you for lunch, and you're thinking, I got Jolly Rancher stuck to my teeth. And then you're thinking, do I leave it there? Do I let it do its damage? Or do I free my teeth? And for me, I'm going to free them. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's all on one tooth. Now, they talk about cavities between teeth. This was going to make one, I think. So, the taste, once you get past the cavity element, I don't know. I would say it tastes pretty much like a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher, but it doesn't add anything to the experience, and it's probably just a rip-off money-wise. I've never had a Jolly Rancher in my mouth and said to anybody, I never turned to them and said, wish this was bigger. Because the fact is, you can just put another one in, and that will make it bigger. There's one last thing I really need to touch on with this one, and I find it shocking. You look at the back here, maybe you can see it up close there. It's got green apple, it's got watermelon, it's got blue raspberry. What are we missing? And you will all say correctly, we're missing cherry. And we're missing, what's going on there? Don't know what's going on with that. Missing. Grape. It's big Jolly Rancher coming from my tongue. And I would ask Jolly Rancher, where are they? What did you do to them? Can I have them back? And I would like to know their answer. I don't know if grape is more expensive. That would be my assumption. But even when you see it on here, we get, that's a blue raspberry. It's not a grape. because grapes don't have these alveoli, but raspberries do. Alveoli are in the lung, but it's a metaphor. So there are only 3 flavors. That's 3 out of 5. That's 60%. We're missing 40% of the flavor here. And I think that is inexcusable, and it's frankly a little sad. It makes me sad. I think grape would probably be the most valuable here, because grape, I gotta say, grape has a taste, but it also has a smell, much more than the others. You know how you can taste a smell a taste? No, taste a smell. Sometimes you eat something and you feel it in your nose, and grape is the only one that provides that. It has this kind of bravado that the other ones don't. And that would be the only value that this would add, would be the more olfactory sense, which is a fancy word for the nose. And we don't even get that. So it lacks even a redeeming quality. I would say they're not like, they don't taste terrible, but as an economic proposition, they're a joke. I'm not going to buy them again. I sort of, this was $3.99. I could have bought, oh boy, what could I have bought? A lot of cookies, maybe a couple oranges, probably a nice salad. Not that I was going to do that, but that's about how much a nice salad is, I hear. Never again on these. I am happy to try other Jolly Ranchers, but these are a no. So thanks for watching. I would steer clear of these puppies and keep on trucking.